You look at that river gently flowing by. You notice the leaves rustling with the wind. You hear the birds. You hear the tree frogs. In the distance you hear a cow. You feel the grass. The mud gives a little bit on the riverbank. It's quiet. It's peaceful. And all of a sudden, it's a gear shift inside you. And it's like taking a deep breath and going, oh yeah, I forgot about this. This is the first picture of the Earth from space that any of us ever saw. It was taken on Christmas Eve 1968 during the Apollo 8 mission. Relatively comfortable boundaries, but we are filling up that thin shell of atmosphere with pollution. I used to be the next president of the United States of America. I don't find that particularly funny. I've been trying to tell this story for a long time, and I feel as if I've failed to get the message across. There are good scouted out and recognize it, and the moral imperative to make big changes is inescapable.
And let's fix the biggest damn crisis in the history of this country. Watch this movie.
Scouted out landing spots. Atmosphere compared to the Earth itself. Wealth. And we're going to create a lot of jobs because doing the right thing moves us forward. I've probably given this slideshow 1,000 times. I would say at least 1,000 times. Nashville to Knoxville to Aspen and Sundance, Los Angeles and San Francisco, Portland, Minneapolis, Boston, New Haven, London, Brussels, Stockholm, Helsinki, Vienna, Munich, Italy and Spain and China, South Korea, Japan. I guess the thing I've spent more time on than anything else in this slideshow is trying to identify all those things in people's minds that serve as obstacles to them understanding this. And whenever I feel like I've identified an obstacle, I try to take it apart, roll it away, move it, demolish it, blow it up. I set myself a goal. Communicate this real clearly. The only way I know to do it is city by city. Person by person. Family by family. And I have faith that pretty soon enough minds are changed that we cross a threshold.
Let me give you an example of the wrong way to balance the economy and the environment. One part of this issue involves automobiles. And in 1984, I went to the interest in this issue, and I saw it when I was a college student because I had a professor named Roger Revelle who was the first person to propose measuring carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere. He saw where the story was going after the first few chapters, after the first few years of data. He intuited what it meant for what was yet to come. They designed the experiment in 1957. He hired Charles David Keeling, who was very faithful and precise in making these measurements for decades. They started sending these weather balloons up every day, and they chose the middle of the Pacific because it was the area that was most remote. And he was a very hard-nosed scientist. He really emphasized the hard data. It was a wonderful time for me because, like a lot of young people, I came into contact with intellectual ferment, ideas that I'd never considered in my wildest dreams before. And he showed our class the results of his measurements after only a few years. It was startling to me. Now, he was startled and made it clear to our class what he felt the significance of it was, and I just soaked it up like a sponge. He drew the connections between the larger changes in our civilization and this pattern that was now visible in the atmosphere of the entire planet, and then he projected into the future where this was headed unless we made some adjustments, and it was just as clear as day. After the first 7, 8, 9 years, you could see the pattern that was developing. But I asked a question, why is it that it goes up and down once each year? And he explained that if you look at the land mass of the Earth, very little of it is south of the equator. And a friend of mine just came back from Kilimanjaro with a picture he took a couple months ago. Another friend for president in 1988, partly controversial in the U.S. at least. In 2000, my opponent pledged to regulate CO2, and then that was not a pledge that was kept. But the point of this is, all this time, you can see what I have seen all these years. It just keeps going up. It is relentless. And now we're beginning to see the impact in the real world. This is Mount Kilimanjaro more than 30 years ago and more recently. And a friend of mine just came back from Kilimanjaro with a picture he took a couple months ago. Another friend, Lonnie Thompson, studies glaciers. Here's Lonnie with a last sliver of one of the once mighty glaciers. Within the decade, there will be no more snows of Kilimanjaro. This is happening in Glacier National Park. I climbed to the top of this in 1998 with one of my daughters. Within 15 years, this will be the park formerly known as Glacier. Here is what's been happening year by year to the Columbia Glacier. It just retreats every single year. And it's a shame because these glaciers are so beautiful, but those who go up to see them, here's what they're seeing every day now.